Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And man, was this episode fucking gangbusters. 3 matches, all amazing in their own ways. And it's funny because a lot like last week, I feel like this didn't have much like story furthering in terms of cinematics. We got some, which I'm eager to talk about. But this is another like match heavy show. The difference is though, I mean, these matches were guns blazing. Oh my God, from top to bottom, I was sucked in the entire hour, which is par for the course for this show. But I mean, especially on an episode like tonight, when you know that it's the calm before the storm that is Aztec Warfare 3 next week. I mean, this episode hit it out of the damn park. I mean, this is episode 10, because I think Aztec Warfare 3, that's episode 11. And just absolutely incredible. Partner, what did you think of it tonight?
Dude. This was like its own little mini Ultima Lucha, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Like, I even said at the beginning of live reactions that if I was just walking in and seeing this episode kind of in a vacuum, not knowing anything else, I would assume that I missed all of Season 3 and that this was a part of Ultima Lucha Trace, for sure.
Yeah. And especially because now they're like so into the idea of having like a few 1-hour Ultima Lucha shows before the actual main Ultima Lucha show. This could have easily been one of those hour-long Ultima Lucha episodes.
Absolutely, dude. Just absolutely insane to me, the quality of all 3 matches. Like, even the match that opened the Believers Backlash, given the feud and given the people involved, you're thinking, well, could they pull out all the stops? And they did. Like, that match put such a smile on my face. The tag match was made important because it had implications for Aztec Warfare 3. And then grave consequences with 2 of the best in the temple. And they freaking killed it. This episode was everything. This episode, to me, was pretty much like if you needed just like a thesis statement or a synopsis or whatever, just like a core thing of what Lucha Underground is, I would show them this episode. I would be like, this is Lucha Underground at its best. And yeah, this is great. Stellar stuff.
Yeah, and it's like this, and then I think it was episode 29, somewhere around there in season 1, where it was like Mundo versus Aerostar, Puma versus Hernandez, and then I think it was Mil Phoenix Deathmatch, all on the same show. Like, that's what this was. That's what we got here tonight, because we got Believers Backlash and a really, really good 5-on-5 match and Grave Consequences 3 all on the same show. It's just ridiculous. Lucha Underground is just so good to us. All we ask is that you guys are good and sometimes give us great shows, but you guys are like, your baseline is good. Like, when you have the least interesting shows that you put out, it's good. And then most of your shows are great. And then there are shows like this that are like way above even great.
And I love too that like Lucha Underground, and I mean this as a compliment, they don't want to give us a reprieve, because if you remember the talking point, one of the talking points that I brought to last week's Lucha Underground TWitWoW was that I feel like the episode that we got last week would have been a great precursor to Aztec Warfare 3, because that was more calm, and stuff like that. And Aztec Warfare 3 is going to be insane. Lucha Underground's like, oh no, fuck that. Fuck that. Like, we own your heart rate for the next 2 weeks, if not more, because then I don't even know what the aftermath of Aztec Warfare 3 is going to be, but I digress. And yeah, I mean, dude, I love it. I love that they're like, no, we have a pace we want to go at, and it's full fucking throttle, and you're all welcome to come for the ride. And I am so happy that I bought a ticket, because there's no other ride I'd want to take. This is absolute insanity. This is wrestling at its best. The saying goes, when wrestling shit, it's utter shit, but when it's great, it's one of the best things you'll ever witness. And Lucha Underground's consistently great, and it just reminds me just how brilliant pro wrestling can be when all the right elements come together. So with that said, do you have any other preliminary remarks you want to make? Because we're just gushing over this episode right now.
No, I don't want to add anything else before we get to the main talking points. I just want to get right into it. We start this off with Katrina giving Mil a pep talk.
Yeah, just kind of pumping him up before grave consequences tonight. Telling him, just end Prince Puma more or less. I always love like these ritualistic segments. You've got the aura, the atmosphere, and then two characters like Katrina and Mil interacting. It's great stuff. Not much you can say here. We've seen it before. Doesn't make it any less goosebump inducing, and it's just great hype before the main event right out of the gate. So I like that.
Yeah, and then the great thing even is, like, it's not like the match that they were hyping with this immediately happened. It was the last match on the show, but we started with this. So it was like, Katrina and Mil bookended this episode.
Exactly. It's just amazing. Yeah, they started it and they ended it. We'll get to the ending, the main event later, because, man, what a barn burner. But then after that, did we get another cinematic, or did we get right into our opening contest?
We got right into our opening contest, which was Believers Backlash 2. Famous B versus Mascarita Sagrada. Oh, this match was so good. Like, and here's the thing. There was no blood in this match.
Right.
There were a few, I don't think there were any chair shots to the head, but I know there were a few, like, there was a shoe shot to the head and there was a trash can lid shot to the head. But those could have been changed to be like to the gut or to the back or whatever. But this match is what the WWE needs to look at and figure out what it means when there are actually no rules. Because, like, when WWE says anything goes, their idea of a crazy, wild anything goes match is like tables and maybe like the steel steps get involved. But this, I mean, where do I begin? We had a football helmet and shoulder pads, a bag of popcorn, a little tiny step ladder for Mascarita to do an elbow drop off of, a garbage can and its lid, a pair of croquet mallets, a bug sprayer, old school style, a wizard's hat and wand, which led to a bowling ball to the nuts, a painting of Famous B, a pair of giant scissors, a cherry cream pie, and a shoe. This is what anything goes looks like, people.
And, bro, you summed up my sentiments and articulated them perfectly, because I think my biggest critique when we see other promotions do like anything goes, not saying that they can't get violent or be awesome, like that's not my critique, but I feel like a lot of the time, particularly in WWE's case, there's no passion for possibility. There's no imagination. This match was drowning in its own imagination, and I mean that as the biggest compliment. And let me give another big compliment, too. If I'm being forthcoming with everybody, I don't know how this is going to be received. This wasn't my match of the night, but even after grave consequences, it was close. I fucking love this match, dude. Like, and I'll say this too, I've never really been too big on Mascarita. This was easily his finest hour. He owned this shit. That elbow drop he did, like, people can say what they want. Oh, he used to mean that. No, that elbow drop was gorgeous. I wasn't even kidding when I said on live reactions. That was like Shawn Michaels-esque. He put his back into it. Famous B, for how far he's come from season 1. So proud of him that he gets to have a program and a match like a feud ender like this match. That just shows you how much his stock has risen.
He got that heat, brother. He got that heat.
He got that heat. And you know what, brother? Now that we've had a chance to kind of marinate on everything, as we often do on Lucha Underground TWitWoW, and we gain new insights, I've got to say, I think what hits me so hard about this match is not just how fun it was or how great it was, and both of those things are certainly true. I just think I'm beaming with pride given the people involved. Because Mascarita's always been like a good guy and a reliable hand, but like he's never, to me, really been in a legitimate program all that much, or if he has, they were always very brief. Famous B, we've already kind of established him. And here these guys were, they put together a legitimate story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the payoff was perfect. I feel like this story didn't drag on too long. I felt like the payoff was exceptional. Both guys were amazing in their roles. They killed it. Both the heel and the face in this thing absolutely killed it. And I think I'm beaming with pride because this just shows that a promotion where these guys would be regarded as lower card, but the difference is they would be regarded as lower card elsewhere, primarily, main roster WWE, and be given shit to do, at the very least, maybe fed to Braun Strowman. And
Dude,
here,
you say main roster as if these guys aren't complete jobbers in NXT as well.
well, you mean Lucha Underground first of, or you did mean NXT, like they treat them like jobbers. I don't know about that. I feel like Famous B maybe gets some mileage. Mascarita, maybe. I don't know though. Like, my point is that in Lucha Underground they get a full-fledged story, not just fed to anybody or anything. They get to go out there. Fashion
I think it's even worth pointing out I mean, historically they are jobbers in Lucha Underground, and Famous B, specifically Famous B in season 1 was one of like 4, I think I want to say, guys that I kind of gave the label undercard, which was basically my really nice politically correct way of saying jobbers. Like,
right.
Vinny Massaro, Argenis, and I think Mariachi Loco was the other one, but I don't remember.
Yeah, and you know what though? Like, yes, these guys aren't going to go on, at least I don't think, but who knows, like in season 10 of Lucha Underground where these guys will be. I mean, but right now, obviously I'm not pegging either of these guys to win the Lucha Underground Championship, but I just love that even guys this low on the card can be given a full-fledged story that doesn't get shafted or doesn't like, oh, we would love to promote this, but we've got this shit to get into. Like they were able to tell a full and complete story. And we loved it. Again, like this match to me, personally, really held its own, even in comparison to the main event. I thought these guys killed it, and it was amazing. So big ups to these guys. So proud of them both.
Yeah. It's funny because we keep talking about this idea of like undercard guys getting a gimmick match and just making the most out of it. It almost kind of reminds me of WeLC. Remember that match in WWE where it was like 3MB versus the Matadors and the Bull, and like on paper it looks ridiculous and stupid and pointless and retarded, but then the match itself was actually wildly entertaining. Now granted, I think this is better than that ever was, but I mean, I will give credit to that. I thought WeLC was really entertaining. It surprised me, but this I expected to be great, and it lived up to, if not exceeded, those expectations. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Believers Backlash is like, I love Grave Consequences, and I love the death match that Lucha Underground does, because it's not like an actual death match where they like pull out all the freaking like thumbtacks and light tubes and all that shit. But I love the death match that they do. But I think after the 2 matches that we've had with this gimmick, I think the Believers Backlash is my favorite stipulation in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, dude, can I just give another compliment to this match? Like, that's more of like a specific compliment, not just general praise for the 2 performers. I loved how they did callbacks to like prior points in their feud. Like, for example, Shoes played a big part, in this match. And I love that because when Famous B originally dumped Mascarita, he beat him with his shoe. And then Mascarita, he gets Matt Striker's shoe tonight, and he, gives Famous B a good thwack with it. And I really like that. So I loved even like the callbacks they did to earlier points in the feud. This match was everything. And yeah, like I said, Mascarita's finest hour easily. He really stepped up in a major way and really came close to stealing the show. And knowing who he was going against tonight, that says everything. So again, big ups to these 2 guys. But I got nothing more to say about this match. Unless you have anything to add, we can move on.
No, this was just freaking great. I mean, only Lucha Underground could make us care about a mini wrestler who was wronged by basically the wrestling equivalent of a used car salesman.
Yeah.
And make us care enough that a match like this can happen and be viable and be great.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
All right. So up next, I believe was our Killshot AR Fox segment, which we found out that it's not AR Fox, it's Dante Fox, apparently, in Lucha Underground. So Dante is lacing his boots up in the locker room, and Killshot shows up, and he talks about how, tonight we need to stand together. just like old times. And then, yeah, they agree. Killshot reaches out for the handshake. Dante kind of hesitantly gives him the handshake and then the bro hug. And then he called him brother at the end. So they kind of are deciding to set their differences aside, even if it is only for one night.
Yeah, you know what, though? Even in this cinematic, like, I enjoyed it. But, like, you could even still feel the tension in this cinematic, especially from Dante's side. Like, the way he looked at Killshot when he said, brother. Like, you just knew, like, I hate your ass so much.
Yeah.
I'd drop you right now if we didn't have a match next. And I love that.
Yep.
Already, and this feud is still in its infancy.
Dude, and the thing is, and I know this is kind of like a little mini spoiler for those of you that are listening to us before you watch the show, but the fact that Dante ended up turning on Shot in the match, like, that tells you that he just could not continue the guise of, you know, putting our differences aside, because he apparently cared more about beating up Killshot than he cared about getting into Aztec warfare.
Exactly. And what does that tell you? Like, that hatred has got to run so deep that if you are willing, I mean, because I can understand torching other people's opportunities, you know.
I think one of my favorite aspects of Lucha Underground, though, is that everyone, you can argue, is the hero of their own story. And the whole thing with Dante is Killshot left him to die.
Yeah.
So I get it, bro. Like, I get why he hates Killshot so much. And like, if you think about it, like, he comes back, he left him a note saying, you left me to die. And then Killshot had that match with Matanza, and Dante comes back and sees him in the ring. And the first thing Killshot says is, I thought you were dead. And then he goes for a hug. Like, dude, you thought I was dead because you left me for dead.
Right.
How pissed off must you have been? Like, yeah. So that's the whole thing. Everyone is the hero of their own story, and Dante despises Killshot because Killshot, like, I don't know, Killshot left him for dead. He abandoned him, and you know, the whole no man left behind thing still applies to the army, where or whatever, you know, faction of the army they were a part of. I don't know if they were like secret ops or you know, just regular army or Marines or whatever, but regardless, they got captured and Killshot left him for dead.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. You know, because the story's so heavy, like, you left me to die in a time of war, we know from the trailer that there is a scene where AR Fox is tied to a chair, he's got a bloody mouth and everything. So I think we're going to get flashbacks.
Yep.
And get proper context to what happened, and that's going to be incredibly illuminating. Because are they going to do it in such a way? Here's my question, and I'm inclined to say yes, because it's Lucha Underground, but are they going to portray the story in such a way, once we finally get context, that there's still enough ambiguity where Dante can still be the hero of his own story? Or is it going to make a clear-cut case of Dante grossly misunderstood the situation? I get why he's feeling so emotional and so enraged, but there was a legitimate reason why Killshot wasn't there.
Yeah, that's
so
the
I'm very curious.
That's what I love so much about this, though, is because there is so much gray area. It's not like, oh, Dante is the heel, Killshot is the face. No, they're both faces in their own minds. They're both doing the right thing in their own minds. It's just we have sort of a preconceived idea that we already like Killshot. So if somebody shows up and starts beating up Killshot, that's going to make us think that that's a bad guy. But really, Dante is just pissed off that Killshot left him to die in wherever the country was that they got captured in. So, yeah, I think that this is the kind of story where these guys are going to beat the absolute shit out of each other. They're going to destroy each other. And then at the end of it, when they've kind of come to the realization that no matter how much they beat each other up, they're never going to fix the past, and that the best they can do is resolve it and move forward, they're going to become a team, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and we got a glimmer of what that might look like in our big tag team matchup, and it looks
amazing.
Yeah, just absolutely brilliant. So I enjoyed the cinematic. And see, what I was getting ready to say earlier, and I do want to make this point, like, this feud, first of all, has such a rich backstory already, and we haven't even seen, again, proper context. And this feud is still in its infancy. But both Dante and Killshot, particularly Dante, I want to heap more praise on him here because I'm just so taken with him already. The body language and the emoting that both of these guys are doing to sell this, just the story's ass off. Like, this was a friendship. I mean, forget Gone Sour. I mean, the bridge has just been totally incinerated. And I think they're selling that so well. And again, it's crazy that the feud is so young, and yet I'm already buying into the hatred. Like, I believe there's that deep hatred there. Any way they'd want to settle it, I'd believe it. And, man, I've got more to say about Dante and stuff when we get to our tag team match, which was that next?
We had the Dante Fox Killshot segment, but then we had Drago Kobra Moon as well.
Yes. What did you think about this cinematic, brother?
I want to go back when we rewatch it, and I really want to try and pay really close attention to what's being said here, but it sounded like Kobra Moon said that Daga had been torn apart by Lord Pindar, and she kind of demanded that Drago kneel down and acknowledge that she is his queen.
Yeah, which...
And Drago is insistent that he was never a part of the Snake Tribe. He was their slave. He was never really, a member of the tribe. He was enslaved by them.
Which, I love that little tidbit because we've already known, like, about the existence of a multitude of tribes, but now, even with this interaction alone, we're starting to get a more fleshed out understanding of the relationships between the tribes. And that, to me, is fascinating because now you're getting on a more social, political, and all that kind of level.
Dude, I love that aspect of Lucha Underground, too, because, like, they're building a universe. That's what they're doing.
Exactly. It's complete world building, and it's world building that, like, I don't question, like, I question, but in a very positive way. Like, oh, what does this mean, or what's this going to do? But, like, they've been so meticulous with it and so caring and every detail just right. And now to know that we're introducing, which makes perfect sense given the era, that Drago was a product of slavery. Like, I was enslaved by this tribe. You think, okay, well, this tribe had this kind of relationship with this tribe, and this tribe allied with this tribe, and this tribe hated this tribe. Like, to know that you've got those socio-political relationships among these tribes, and again, it's all part of that world building, just further deepens the fascination with the Lucha Underground universe and the mythos that it's establishing. And I'm guessing we're not going to see Daga ever again if this Lord Pindar destroyed him, which again brings...
Well, I mean, we saw him in the trailer, though, so I think it's safe to say we will see him again, even if it's only for a flashback.
I wonder if, and here's the thing, too, maybe it is a flashback, but if it isn't, I wonder if destroyed shouldn't be taken too literally. Maybe they destroyed who Daga was and rebuilt him into something else to serve the greater ends or something, like brainwashing or some shit. I don't know. Maybe. But this Lord Pindar.
I know. Remember, we saw Daga in the trailer with a sword,
right,
of some kind. So we know that he's gonna be doing something. I don't know what, but should be interesting.
And second of all, my compliments to the Snake Tribe, because Lord Pindar, if that is not a Mortal Kombat name, I can already hear the ending narration after Lord Pindar's won the tournament, after he defeated Shang Tsung, Lord Pindar. Like, it just rolls off the tongue so well. He sounds incredibly badass. And yeah, like, I love now that we've got Kobra Moon back in the fold, which everybody was clamoring for. But even now, though, it's like we're getting stuff, for sure. But it's not all at once, it's still very piecemeal in their approach, and I dig it, because I can't wait to see what the hell she's building, presumably alongside this Lord Pindar. And we do get that touch of comedic relief in this cinematic because, again, Vinny Massaro walks in on it. He is so great. I love him.
Eating a leg of fried chicken. I guess he overheard the conversation that they were having, and then just kind of walks away and leaves a parting gift in the form of flatulence.
Yeah, flatulence. He says he's going to go use the ladies' room. He's probably going to bring that chicken in with him into the ladies' room and eat it there. I don't know.
Yeah, he's totally going to eat it while taking a shit.
Yeah, ain't none of my business.
You know what they say, out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. And, Big ups to Vinny Massaro. Great to see him on Lucha Underground again. I popped again on live reaction, so I hope Vinny enjoyed that. But yeah, great cinematic and I think very telling. Anything else you want to add, brother?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. We've got some speculation in chat though. We've got one person saying that they believe that Kobra Moon is going to kidnap Drago before Aztec Warfare, which might lead to her taking Drago's place in Aztec Warfare. And then we've got another one saying Kobra Moon is looking for someone to slay Pindar so she can take his place.
Ooh, I like that theory.
I like both of those theories just fine, yeah.
Yeah, Kobra Moon potentially making that power grab. But yeah, both theories are great. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. That's one of those, yeah, I agree with you for sure. That's definitely one of those wait and see kind of things because we'll find out next week what goes down, brother.
Definitely.
I wonder if we're going to get another web exclusive Aztec Warfare qualifying match this coming week.
You know, probably, because we only know a handful of entrants, so they'll probably let us know like a few more.
I think we only know for sure 7 people, because Matanza #1, Drago, and then the 5 people that qualified tonight. I don't think we know anyone else set in stone.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, man. Holy shit.
I mean, we know 7 people who aren't going to be in it as well. Phoenix, Aerostar, and then the 5 people on the losing team tonight.
Right. Wow.
Woo. Damn. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world that they're splitting the roster down the middle because there are about 40 people that, you know, we as the audience care about on the roster, and you can only have 20 in Aztec Warfare, so they've got to cut it in half.
Yeah, you got to do that, man. Absolutely.
All right, well, I think we can probably move on here to our second match of the evening, which was the 5-on-5 match. Dante Fox, Killshot, Cage, Tejano, and Argenis versus Ivelisse, Jeremiah Crane, Mariposa, Marty the Moth, Martinez, and the Mack.
Yeah, and I loved, you know, +5 to the Mack for his entrance because he realizes who his team is, and he just kind of shrugs. He's like, my life. This is my life. And like,
yeah,
just walks on.
This is just what my life looks like now.
Yeah, I adore the Mack, man. I know I'm not really very vocal about it, but you're talking about just one freaking kick-ass dude, man. I love him.
Yeah. There was actually someone uploaded to YouTube a video from one of Lucha Underground's house shows that they did versus King Cuerno. So Cuerno is still alive. Maybe not necessarily in a kayfabe context, so he still needs to be revived there, but he's still at least with the company and still working with the company.
Well, that's wonderful, at least. I do hope we see him again. I know how much you and I both loved him. A lot of people seem to love him. Yeah. So I do hope we see him again. And hey,
it was awesome, though. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match between Mack and Cuerno.
That sounds epic.
Yeah.
But, brother, I got to ask you, what did you think of this tag match?
Oh, this was so much fun. I really do think that my highlight of the match was that very brief sequence where Killshot and Dante were kind of synced up together and they were doing the same stuff to I believe it was Mariposa and Marty, and they were synchronized and in the same kind of frame of a mind and hitting their offensive moves in sync. It was great.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Thoroughly Marty versus Cage, and that feud needs to happen.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. As soon as
every single time I want Melissa to announce Marty or to announce Cage while staring angrily into the eye sockets of Marty, like, you're gonna get slayed, bitch.
Exactly.
Just glaring at Marty. They call him Cage. And then Cage comes out and does the discus lariat and takes Marty's head off, and Melissa's super duper ecstatic about everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my ideal world for sure. I gotta say too, like, I don't really have many mental notes on this match. I just thought it had great energy. Jeremiah and Ivelisse to further their kayfabe relationship.
Reference or just completely unintentional?
What was that?
Was that a Trump reference or completely coincidental?
Completely coincidental. I'm not even thinking about Trump or any of that shit right now.
I only ask because, like, one of the big things that you'll always see on the Donald subreddit is people calling things hot high energy, and then you just said that. So I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I said great energy, but still, I get your point nonetheless. But as I was saying,
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, the energy in this match was off the charts. It was.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody was doing something. I never felt the pace slow once. I felt like Ivelisse and Jeremiah, to further their kayfabe relationship, had great teamwork at one point that actually impressed me. I didn't know if they were gonna go with, maybe they were gonna try and do stuff and then it would flub and then they would like bicker about it, but no, they actually had great synergy with each other. The imploding 450 from Dante, which I know you marked out for on live reactions, was a thing of fucking beauty. And I'll reiterate what I said in live reactions here. If Dante isn't with this company for the long haul, I'm talking like season 3 until the end of time, he is very easily going to carve a space in my top 5. And again, I've said it before, we live in an era of wrestling where I'm so overjoyed. My top 5 changes pretty consistently, but Dante's just a beast. I'm loving the character. Yeah.
And dude, I think he might have put on even more muscle since the last time I saw him, because he is friggin' shredded, man.
Yeah.
Like he honestly, the way he's built, he might even be more shredded than Puma at this point. I never thought I'd say that.
Which, how perfect is it for the gimmick, given that he is supposed to be a military guy and he comes in with that kind of build? Like, it's like, yeah, that, and then it's something, a connection I just made, and it just works on so many levels. I love too the end where he stops Marty from finishing off Killshot, which, by the way, great callback to their feud, great little nod to that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Good thought.
And he just lays him out with that finisher of his, which I think you want to talk about favorites as far as Dante goes. Not only may he carve a spot in my top 5, that finisher of his may carve a place in my top 10 favorite finishers. That is sick.
It's like a straight jacket muscle buster. I think that's safe to call. Yeah.
Yeah, a straight jacket muscle buster. It's a thing of beauty. I love that he lays Killshot out with it. And this is both Johnny Scumbag and me talking. I love that he did it. I want that ambiguity to continue. To make an X-Men reference, I want Dante to be Magneto-esque. You may question his ways, but he is totally justifiable for how he is handling his shit. So I love it. Lays his ass out. And again, like I said, we were talking about the cinematic. If he was willing to forego an opportunity at the Lucha Underground Championship with the mythos that they've built, that championship is everything. The greatest treasure you could fight for. And Dante's like, no, fuck that. I hate this bitch. I want to kill him instead. Like, holy fuck, dude. Killshot, you can hug that man. You could apologize 10 million times in 10 million different languages. It's not going to do you one iota of good. And that's the kind of rivalry I love, where there is no going back. You either have to go all the way off the damn cliff, or you just have to, for your own mutual preservation, decide not to go off it together and just begrudgingly tolerate each other. But there is no reconciliation here. None.
Yeah. And again, though, like, going back to Fox, the freaking imploding 450, the springboard imploding. Oh, that... the imploding 450 in and of itself might just be my favorite high-flying move.
Right.
And the fact that he does a springboard variation of it to the outside, like, oh my God.
He's insane. He's absolutely insane. Just crisp and beautiful and just everything. Marty's team wins, which means he's going to Aztec Warfare, which I can't wait for Marty to get some shine back on him, because I know he had the program with Killshot. I'm looking for him to do his next thing. I still am as high on him as I've always been. Great to see him get this spot with Mariposa as well, who I'm also looking for her to really break out, because I don't think we've seen her best yet. But yeah, very happy this team.
There was a moment in this match where I think it was Tejano just grabbed her by the pigtails and lifted her up. Like, that would suck so bad. Oh, and I brought this up during live reactions, but I never really explained in a deeper sense. I think Tejano is winning the ultimate opportunity.
Yes, you did mention that. So I want to give you the floor. Articulate your position here as to why you think that is.
Well, my whole thing is, does Cage really need to become a god in order for us to believe that he could beat Matanza?
I don't think so, being honest.
Yeah. So if Cage becomes a god, shut the temple down, it's over.
Right.
Like, he's already pretty freaking powerful. That would make him way too powerful, wouldn't it?
I would certainly think so. Yeah.
And not to mention, Cage gets a reaction already. We don't need him to have like another level, do we? Like we don't need like there's no problem with Cage in his current packaging. Like he doesn't need repackaged as a god, does he?
No, I don't think so.
Don't give a shit about
Tejano.
exactly. And not to mention, we saw, and this is kind of a separate theory because just to kind of finish things off, needs a repackaging because he's not a very interesting character. They brought him in using the whole AAA Mega Championship angle, and I guess they thought that that would kind of immediately get him over. And maybe it did in certain circles, but it's not like a universal thing where everyone loves him like with Cage.
Right.
So they're kind of, yeah. I mean, they're kind. I think they're going to use as a way to repackage Tejano as a second god character, second to Matanza, of course. And I don't know, John, if you remember, but there was a brief, I think it was a grand total of like 9 frames. And when a video is 30 frames a second, that's a third of a second, not even.
Right.
But there was a brief glimpse in the trailer of sort of a reptilian mask that looked kind of similar to Drago, but wasn't Drago.
Right.
What I'm talking about?
I have the vaguest recollection of it. Because, yeah, I think I remember you and I really emphasizing that when we did our trailer review and analysis. But yeah, we've been so far removed from it that I can barely even conjure up any imagery.
Well,
so
I'll tell you what. Do you have the YouTube chat pulled up, or do you want me to send it to you on the Google Hangout?
You can send it to me on the Google Hangout because I had it pulled up, but I closed out of it. So
okay, I just sent you a link to an image on the Google Hangout. I'm going to post the same thing in the chat so that our fans can,
yes, I remember that face. Now that I'm seeing it again, yeah, now my memory's being jogged back. I do remember that face. Do you think that's Tejano in God form or what?
Exactly.
Yeah. That is crazy. Ugh, what a metamorphosis.
The image that I sent you and that I showed chat is kind of cut off at the bottom, but you can clearly tell from the way that he moves and you can see his teeth.
Right.
Like under you can even see kind of at the very bottom in the middle, you can see like 2 of his teeth, or like I guess technically 4, part of 4 of his teeth.
Right.
But it's pretty clearly not Drago.
Right.
And if you look at the patterns on the mask and everything, it's definitely not Drago. Everyone that I show it to says, oh, it's just Drago. But if you actually look at the mask, it's pretty clearly not Drago. So I think that this is going to end up being what they repackaged Tejano as.
I know Kid Coheed in chat just said he thinks it might be Pendar, which is an interesting theory. But
it's Gindar. I mean Pindar. And yeah, that's definitely another possibility because we know that Pindar is the kind of the lord of the snake tribe. And if Drago has been in the snake tribe before, even if it was against his will, then maybe dragons fit in with the snake tribe. Maybe there isn't a dragon tribe and they just are considered to be part of the snake tribe.
Yeah. I mean, so I think the 2 best bets are Pendar, but I really want to believe what you're saying. But man, would Tejano really look like that, looking like a guy? I don't know. But I do like the way you're thinking because we know.
I think my whole thing is I think that they're going to repackage Tejano with a mask.
Right. Which, hey,
he's still like a big, intimidating guy. Kind of, he's even kind of built like Matanza. If you think about it, he's built kind of like that big, broad, thick guy. Right. So yeah, if you put a mask on him, it would definitely. I think that would help. I think that would make him a more interesting character, and I think that that's the direction that they'll go. Even though I really wanted Cage to win the Ultimate Opportunity, knowing now what the Ultimate Opportunity is, Cage doesn't need that, and Tejano does.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you're saying right now because I feel like Tejano winning that would be the shot in the arm that he needs. Because, when he first came in, they hyped up like his AAA credentials and everything he did there. And I felt like he was going to be like this big deal and make a splash. But I've never really been taken with Tejano. I feel like the angles he's always done have been kind of lukewarm. I mean, the stuff he did with Patron was okay initially, but I feel like he's been kind of directionless and just kind of there. This, though, will make everybody take notice because the implications are staggering. Getting this, puts him on the map immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what they do with it.
All right. Well, glad we got to have that discussion. So, Tejano was in this match, but he was also on the losing team because, as we discussed, Dante turns his back on Killshot, hits him with that awesome straight jacket muscle buster type move, and then Marty just goes for the pin almost immediately afterwards, picking up the win for the team of Ivelisse, who was injured. It was an ankle injury, not broken, but we probably won't see her for a couple months. Jeremiah Crane, who I didn't know his last name was Crane until tonight, but that's actually pretty freaking awesome because isn't that really similar to the name of the Headless Horseman?
Yeah, Ichabod Crane. So,
That's really close. So, and then Mariposa, Marty the Moth Martinez, and the Mack. So many M's. Marty, Mariposa, Mack.
Yeah. That is crazy, but I'm very happy. And that reminds me, too, I said how happy I was for Marty and Mariposa to qualify. The Mack getting in on that, which is great. Oh, man. They're all so wonderful. And even though Ivelisse got injured, which broke my heart, I mean, she should be back in time for Ultima Lucha Trace, in the season to face Katrina, which is great because, I mean, that's the big story, at least for those two women. And, Jeremiah will get a chance to kind of go on his own, honestly, her injury, knowing Lucha Underground, could really present a unique opportunity to Lucha Underground because now Jeremiah is kind of on his own, and what's he going to do now that Ivelisse can't rein him in anymore?
I wonder if we're going to get like a backstage cinematic kind of thing where we have them in the back and like maybe, you know what, and then here's the beautiful thing. Since the temple is unsanctioned, you're not going to have like a trainer's room in the temple. So maybe we'll actually get like an ER scene where the doctor says, "Oh, the surgery was successful. You should be back to good in however many months, but you should stay off it and definitely no wrestling until then." And then Jeremiah can be, "Oh, that's a shame, babe, but hey, at least I got a spot in the temple, right?"
Yeah. Jeremiah Crane, ace doucher. Yeah.
He really is. It fits his character so perfectly.
It does. But yeah, best wishes to Ivelisse. Can't wait to see her down the road in this season for her to finish up her business with Katrina. But for now, we know who's qualified for Aztec Warfare. We know who's out. Really fun tag match. That's all I got to say about that.
Now that I think about it, I mentioned earlier we know 7 people that are in Aztec Warfare. Really, it's 6 because of Ivelisse not being in it.
That's true. That does open up kind of a question mark, like who's going to take that spot. So,
oh man, what if it ends up being Katrina?
Oh, wouldn't that be something? Seethe, bitch! You're watching me at home taking your spot. Oh, that'd be great storytelling.
That's such a Cueto move, though, isn't it?
That's why it's perfect. Kick people while they're down, just like they deserve. Oh, that'd be so good. I hope that happens now. That's too perfect.
Oh, man. All right, well, I think we can move on. Up next, this was interesting. Matanza and Dario Cueto. Cueto offering a bit of a pep talk to Matanza for Aztec Warfare next week.
Yeah.
Really interesting because Matanza did some clapping. Cueto was talking about how be prepared for, and then Matanza, of all freaking people, actually spoke and said, "War."
Which took me aback, man. I'm like, holy fuck, it talks. Holy shit. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about this cinematic. I loved it. I found it very peculiar, the line from Cueto, your father, our father, trained you to fight. And I
mean, he didn't actually say that. He didn't say our father trained you to fight. He said, you need to remember everything our father trained you to do.
Right.
Something along those lines. He didn't explicitly say our father trained you to fight. It was more along the lines of like, remember what our father trained you for, that kind of thing.
Right. But still, I mean, it's quite curious because we know from the comics, which I still urge everybody to read, and hopefully we get an update, when this season passes and we get ready for season 4, that Papa Cueto is a piece of shit. Really, both the Cuetos were. They had their issues. And, clearly.
I still think the Lord is Papa Cueto. Otherwise, because that's the thing is Dario, we were kind of under the assumption when we first found out about Delgado's Lord that Cueto was unaware of him and that he didn't realize that he had reason to be afraid of him.
Right.
But in hindsight, he knows who the Lord is. He knows the guy. He's familiar with him because when he and Delgado had that conversation at the bar, he kind of was acting like, it was fine. And the prison scene where he got bailed out, when he got into the limo, he just kind of talked to him like it was whatever. So they clearly have at least some history. I think it's Papa Cueto, I'm telling you. I think that the Cueto father is Delgado's Lord.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll tell you, if that theory proves to be true, I mean, because you called it so early, and yeah, I'll let that just be all you, brother. I co-sign onto it personally, really only because I couldn't venture a better guess if I wanted to, and we'll just see it play out. But yeah, this cinematic, there is just something about the entire Cueto lineage, like Cueto interacting with Matanza. If the Lord is Cueto's father, we can add that. It's a fascinating family tree, and it's one where in cinematics like this, you just want to dig deeper. I just want to claw away at everything and just see, the essence of all of it, because it's just, there's so much to me communicated even in how these two look at each other and talk to each other, and it's great shit, man. It's great shit. Cueto continues to be an amazing character, and Matanza, I'll tell you, there is something he's the furthest thing from your paint by numbers kind of oafish brute, I only know how to destroy. You look into those eyes, man, I'm telling you, I still think on a certain level, Matanza is a very sympathetic character. And just seeing him kind of clap and say war and just be kind of like this vessel. I mean, that's the terminology we've been using a lot. There's something in my mind inherently tragic about all of that, despite the immense power it comes with. So yeah, I'm utterly enthralled by this story, if you couldn't tell, and I can't wait for the latest chapter next week in the form of Aztec warfare, because Cueto was the one that put his balls on the table that Matanza is going to be starting first and running through 19 other people. So We'll see.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy. All right. You know what? I think that was actually the last cinematic that we got for the night, because up next was Aztec Warfare. Grave Consequences Chris. And I don't know, John, would you say that this was on the same level as the previous two?
I would. I would say I would say I enjoyed this more than the second one, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the punching through the coffin spot might have kind of sealed the second one for me over this.
I mean, maybe the second one had better. I don't even know. You know what? I don't even want to say that I felt like the second one had better moments, because that moment was badass. But that was probably one of the only standout moments for me. That and the finish. This, I mean, Puma from the jump, pump kicking, Muertes in the face, then jumping off the steps, through the crowd, over Muertes. This felt like it had the sense of urgency of the first Grave Consequences with animosity more akin. Well, I guess to the first Grave. I don't even know the parallels I could draw.
You know what, though? I will say I do feel like that sense of urgency was lost towards the end of the match with Puma.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, man,
because I'm not a big fan of the fact that he destroyed Mil. And, he took the chair to the coffin lid and kind of concertoed Mil with the coffin and the chair and all that stuff. And then he spent all that time setting up those tables. What are you going to do? He's literally right there. Put him in the coffin and win the match.
Exactly. And we were saying the same thing. I was literally saying, Puma, you have got to get on his ass. Why are you not doing anything but like pouncing on him right now to finish this. And then on the opposite side, I mean, dude, Mil is just a killer. Every grave consequences. Like, this guy just goes in, he beats the shit out of you, except the only difference this time is he actually sees it through to the end. And believe me, and you know what, though? I like this, because if you're a Mil Muertes fan and you've been following Lucha Underground at the very least from the first grave consequences, you could appreciate this moment, because once Mil choke slams Puma through those tables on the outside, which was a sick spot, by the way. Mil just makes everything look like a fucking life ender. He revels in it. He goes to the back. He gets a casket, you know, that was still dented, but we thought it came from like the first grave consequences.
I honestly, it might have actually been the casket or the coffin that they put Conan in.
And that's what I was thinking too. I'd be very curious, because I had a similar thought, which would be just next level for Lucha Underground, which would surprise absolutely nobody. And then Muertes gets the stand. And he sets it like it's this whole thing, which I think is great for the character, because if Muertes is death, well, you always want to conduct death properly. You know, you don't want to be sloppy. You don't want to make any mistakes. You don't want anybody to get away, any errors, anything like that. So, no, he takes his sweet time, because he realizes I've killed Puma. And then he goes for the flatliner for the second time, because the first time Puma had one of the best counters I've seen in recent memory. That was fucking gorgeous. Where he does
he did a freaking handstand. That was awesome.
Freaking handstand a counter, but the second one, not so much, right on the floor. Picks him up, fireman's carry style, drops him in, even crosses his arms and everything like it's a formal funeral. Like, okay, we've processed everything, he's in the casket, and then closes the goddamn lid. Just, damn, man. Damn, Muertes finally wins grave consequences. And it's great, and it's deserved. And you know what? It's one, and I love it too, because it's not one where, oh, well, Muertes is dead, so eventually he's got to win one. He won one where it makes perfect narrative sense. Puma's been a long-standing rival with him, and not only that, when you look at extraneous circumstances, Vampiro is waiting in the wings, and that's why this is perfect. Because to me, I can't speak for you, brother, but for me, there is so much more intrigue now, knowing that Vampiro is going to have to be dealing with a Puma in a coffin than Muertes being in a coffin for a third consecutive time. Because we've already seen it twice before. So, I mean, this is totally new terrain that Lucha Underground is exploring, and that's got me so freaking excited. I can't wait. This match was great. I loved it. My match of the night. I will say, though, again, barely edged out Believers Backlash, because those guys put in the fucking work. But yeah, Puma and Muertes, this is why they're two of the best in the company. This is why they're freaking artisans at what they do. And yeah, Mil Muertes wins, man. Mil Muertes freaking wins.
Yeah, he did. That was great. That was awesome. So let's see. I think that's actually it. We didn't get any kind of post-credit scene or anything like that. It was just straight up Puma is dead.
Yeah, which, I mean, I gotta say, for me as a Johnny Mundo fan, I was banking on that end credit scene. Didn't happen, so I guess he won't be cashing in Gift of the Gods next week. Which
that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to be in Aztec Warfare. I mean, I know we talk about like he doesn't need it, but who's to say he doesn't want more than one opportunity to win the title?
Oh, of course. But now I'm starting to worry, because you go that many weeks and you know, like, he's not even going to be able to cash it in easily. You know, Cueto's going to pull like, oh, you have to defend it first kind of thing. I thought we could get away with it, but it's never that easy in the temple. So I'm curious where that'll go. But yeah, to keep focus, Puma in that casket and Vampiro now having that. Man, Muertes, I used to fear you when you'd get revived. Now I'm fearing whatever's going to come out on Puma's end. That's nuts.
Dude, Vampiro's face at the end of this, just the most sinister smile I've ever seen.
Dude, like, it's funny because I said about the opening match, I know I referenced it in live reactions, like I thought it was sponsored by the Acme Corporation, and just to make another Looney Tunes reference, that was like Sylvester the Cat looking at fucking Tweety Bird all alone, like, I'm finally gonna eat this fucking bird. And like, Vampiro's just like, he knows the table's been set for him to do some dark shit. And here's the thing, I'm not questioning Katrina's power, mainly because there's a chance she might hear this, and I actually like living. But Vampiro is a very dark, very malevolent force. And if he's going to do a revival kind of ritual, Puma, I'm out. I mean, good luck with that, brother, because that's some next level shit to me. I'm very curious what's going to emerge from all this. This is amazing.
Well, and you've got to think if Vamp does attempt to and succeeds to revive Puma, he is going to hold Puma hostage, isn't he? Like, Puma's going to owe him his life in a very literal sense.
Oh my God, yeah. The power dynamic has completely shifted, because up until now, even though he would still do what Vampiro told him, as you astutely noted, Puma, at least explicitly, verbally, kept rebuking Vampiro at every turn. Like, oh, I don't need you. I don't want you here. Now with this, because I'm guessing Puma will still have his sentience about him, and he'll still have his like essence about him. Like, he'll still be Puma, but at the same time, like, at what cost? What is going to happen?
It'll be like a JBL Shawn Michaels thing where he just does whatever the guy telling him to do stuff tells him to do, because he feels like he can't get out of it.
Yeah, and really, and I know Lucha Underground doesn't harp on this much, but I just love the show so much that I try and absorb every detail and never forget it. I thought it was quite poignant, too, seeing Puma go in that casket, because he is the last of his tribe. Now, I don't think that's going to factor in any way in the story. I don't mention it for that reason, but I'm just like, man, that's how Puma falls, man. Fell right on the sword, and then Vampiro's going to pick him up, and I mean, can Puma escape the clutches of death? And more importantly, can he escape the clutches of whatever Vampiro is? Like, Puma now, and this is what makes him such a great babyface, because he has that fire. He's not cookie cutter, but I don't know if I've seen a babyface dealing with more legitimate stakes than what Puma is grappling with right now, because at least with Phoenix, he evaded death in the end. And Sexy Star, she exercised her demons in the form of Mariposa and the abuse that she endured. I'm not saying Puma won't overcome and win in the end, but I just look at the metaphysical obstacles and just the mythological obstacles, just everything he's going up against, and it is steep. It is a steep fucking climb for Puma, so definitely a journey I'm looking forward to take with him.
Yeah, brother. Oh, man. Well, we thought Puma would have like a spiritual reawakening at some point last season, and then maybe even this season, but this is a little bit of a different kind of reawakening that we were expecting.
Oh yeah, I mean, talk about, going from the guy that Conan, I found him, fighting for his life in the barrio, and then I brought him here, made him a great fighter, and now this, he goes from being like Conan's kind of meal ticket, even though it's always been a relationship of reverence, at least on Puma's part. He's always respected Conan, and now he gets guidance again. But what's so tragic about this isn't guidance that he gave himself to. It's being taken, like, from him. It's like, this is happening. It's being imposed upon him, I should say. And that is just fascinating to me. But with that said, do you have any other remarks, any other musings about the fallout of Grave Consequences?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm just going to keep the momentum rolling right along. My low shot is Prince Puma. With everything we just talked about.
Did.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I just got done saying that it's going to be a steep climb for Puma. Didn't say that about anybody else who lost tonight. So, yeah, Puma, you are my low shot, brother. Not to kick you while you're down, but damn.
Yeah. I think my low shot has to be Killshot, just because if I can't pick the guy who died, I might as well pick the guy who got betrayed by his own teammate and won't be in Aztec Warfare now.
Yeah, that's true. Rough night for Killshot. His personal relationships are still in the gutter. Isn't getting a shot at the Lucha Underground Championship in Aztec Warfare. That's a huge absence to be taking place in that match. But again, as you and I have both noted, furthers the exclusivity of the match. So yeah, I think that's an excellent low shot choice. My high spot. You know what? I am feeling in such a good mood. My high spot's Mascarita Sagrada, because he had the match of his Lucha Underground career for me tonight. I don't think I've ever loved him more. He pulled out all the stops. I love the program the entire way, which just as much kudos to Famous B in that regard. But yeah, Mascarita stepped up in a major way. I had so much fucking fun. And in the kayfabe sense, he got the win. So it all makes sense. So yeah, Mascarita, easily my high spot, and I'm so happy to give it to him.
You know what? In a darker sense, I think I'm going to give my high spot to Vampiro because I think he got exactly what he wanted tonight.
Yes. Love that choice. Love that choice. Because, yeah, that look on his face, that wasn't the look of a loser. That was the look of an opportunist in wait. So with that said, brother, any closing remarks about Lucha Underground tonight?
Absolutely not. This was an amazing show, and next week looks to be maybe even better.
Absolutely. I mean, Aztec Warfare 3 next week, guys. So many things to consider. You know you can get your best coverage here at TWitWoW, you know, for live reactions and then our follow-up review. So next week's going to be insane. But for now, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. Leave a like on your way out. The more likes we get, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place you belong. You guys already know all the stuff to check out because of the amazing backgrounds that my cohort and commentary makes, but I do want to plug two things. First and foremost, Q&A. You're going to want to get your questions in. We are doing Q&A on the 25th. Yes, this month. Sorry, I had to pull out my calendar because we do it at the last Friday of every month. So you have the 25th. It is the 9th today. Still got a very nice window to submit questions and get things in. Everybody's permitted up to 5 questions per Q&A. You can submit them on Twitter, you know, tweet at either of us. You can visit the Facebook page. Be sure to give it a like, you know, while you're there and message us on the Facebook page. You can comment on this YouTube video when it's formally processed and, you know, the chat kind of closes out. So you have many mediums to submit your questions. Everybody has up to 5 questions. You don't have to use all 5, and they can be divvied up however you want. So be sure to get questions for Q&A. However, the other thing I want to plug before we get out of here, everybody, if you want to donate to the Patreon, feel free to do so because now we have a new reward up. If you guys want us to review or live react to a show of your choice, we have got price points up. I highly encourage everybody to go on the Patreon, check them out, and if there's a show you have in mind, just look at the corresponding price point. If you want a review, if you want live reactions, or if you want both, make a donation and it will get done because, you know, speaking of which, we know on Thursday we will be doing a review from a Patreon donor. So, I mean, we're getting them out nice and quick. I know they're eagerly anticipating it. Should be a lot of fun for us. But that is Thursday, so be sure to check out the Patreon, make a donation if you see fit, and have fun with whatever review you want to give us. With that said, guys, we will see you all again for our NXT review, where we keep barreling down the road of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. You can get all your best coverage here at TWitWoW. And until then, my friends, tune in and peace out.